Hello and welcome to the Luminous Body Podcast, Healing from Within. This is episode 8 of Inside Out, Exploring the Chemistry of Your Health. Today is part 4, Real Life Toxic Overload. I am your co-host, Dr. Jackson Waring, a chiropractor and kinesiologist, and I'm joined by my wife,
Dr. Hilary Conroy, also a chiropractor and kinesiologist. And
in today's episode, we are telling our stories.
Yeah, that's right.
Of our biochemical challenges, our experiences with toxins and pathogens, especially when it comes to overload.
Yeah.
We're going to explore Hilary's journey with Mercury Toxicity and my journey with SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Yeah. This is cool. I think what's interesting about this is, for whatever reason, a lot of people assume that nothing really happens to us.
True.
Yeah. You know, we don't eat chocolate and we don't drink and, you know, everything's just cruisy, but that's not the case. And I think part of the reason we're in this line of work is because these things have happened to us and we've had to work it out.
That's it. It's like primary research.
That's it.
Right? Yeah. We've had our own challenges and learnt so much.
That's it.
Going through them. And I would even say, like, definitely starting out on our healing journeys, just dealing with the amount of overload we had, especially toxic-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I had so many food intolerances I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And they were really messing me up.
Like, really messing you up. It was actually unbelievable. I remember when our old chiro said to you, oh, you know, you're just sensitive to gluten. And I thought, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I couldn't believe it at all.
No.
And even though I had spent, like, the last 3 months sneezing every 2.5 minutes or something.
Blowing your nose, your eyes were watering.
Yeah, and I was taking like so much Telfast and nothing was working. And I remember you coming home and saying, hey, so-and-so said maybe you should drop the gluten. And I was like, how could that have any impact on my allergies whatsoever? Like, I just could not connect the two at all. But I was so desperate that I tried it. And 2 days later, my nose completely dried up.
Which is just crazy.
Well, and it was just that moment of going, oh my God, this has such a profound effect on my health and well-being. I didn't even know.
No. No idea.
No idea.
I think when I was first starting to wrap my head around how complex the body is, in a sense, it was mind-blowing to me the impact the gut had on health.
Oh, yeah.
Because for years, it had been suggested to me as well to stop gluten, and I just didn't have the willpower.
Well, and as I recall, when because we were a lovely codependent little couple at the time.
That was very special, yeah.
When I stopped eating gluten, you stopped eating gluten.
Yeah, it was great.
But your response was very different to mine. So, like, my allergies disappeared. But
yeah.
your anxiety, like, went down by, like, what, 75%?
So many notches. It went down many notches. And that was another moment where I was like, how is it that the food I'm eating is changing my mental health?
Right.
Yeah.
I just remember sitting down and doing so much research, just like, what is the connection between food and mental health? What is the connection between gluten and anxiety? And this is not supposed to be an episode on gluten at all, but we've just launched into it. But I remember reading that actually only 40-something% of people with gluten intolerance or gluten sensitivity, not celiac, experience gut symptoms.
Yes.
The other 60 or so % actually experience neurotoxic symptoms like headache, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and other mental health
that
imbalances.
Foggy
brain, like lack of focus, lack of concentration, which was kind of once my allergies cleared, I realized that was me. You know, if I ate gluten today, I wouldn't function. I'd be in bed. I just get these severe hangover symptoms and things like that. You know, it's just the sensitivity is real.
Well, it's the same for me. If I eat gluten, but unwittingly, or, you know, if I'm being a bit cheeky, I'm instantly anxious.
Well, that's how we know.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to restaurants and we leave and you're like, oh, I feel really anxious. There must have been gluten in that. And I'm like, Yeah, there must have been.
Maybe.
Because well, and then you think back and you're like, oh, traces in the sauce or in the flour, maybe in the batter or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, we've both been on a, maybe I would say like a regularly consistent journey of discovery over the years of how our biochemistry doesn't just impact the way we feel or like the symptoms of that chemical imbalance. So like for me, it was allergies and gluten, but also the more far-reaching effects, I guess, as well, how these toxins and pathogens can actually really impact your outlook, your well-being.
Your quality of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we've got a couple of tales to tell.
We do.
Yeah. I guess we should probably, do you want to start with your little tale?
Yeah, I'll start with mine. To give context, when I was quite a lot young, when I was around 8, I ended up having lots of dental problems. And I had a general anesthetic and then a mouthful of mercury amalgams.
So you had fillings put in that were mercury.
Yeah, and I needed so many fillings that they thought it was just better to put me under a general.
Yeah. And from what I remember from dentistry back in the day is they'd use mercury because it lasts longer.
Lasts for ages.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Easy to use, lasts. Yeah. Sturdy.
Yeah. So good idea at the time.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I was just sad that I had silver fillings, but it turned out to be a little bit more impactful than aesthetic.
Yeah, it turns out a mouthful of mercury isn't so good for your health.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Fast forward, I don't know, probably by the time I started really having symptoms, it would have been 15, 20 years from that mouthful of fillings. And I was just noticing things. I mean, obviously I was anxious, but I was chronically anemic.
Yes.
Always deficient in iron, always bruised.
Yeah, like you would like rub past a branch on a hike and get a bruise.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I'm like,
oh. I looked unwell.
Yeah.
To the point where
Exactly.
medical professionals have thought that something physical was happening to me.
Yeah.
For just checkups unrelated to bruising.
You're like, what's going on at home?
Are you safe at home?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm fine at home. What are you talking about? And I was just black and blue. So I had chronic anemia that no one could really work out. And I started getting these sensations where I felt like really scalding water was being poured on me. So often if I was around Jackson, I'd feel like, oh, what's he, like, why is he pouring water on me? That's so weird. It was happening like down my arms and down my legs, and it was a bit disconcerting because when I worked out that I was not, in fact, getting wet in any capacity, I was like, what's going on? And obviously I was quite anxious and also my moods were suffering. So I really struggled to feel good.
Yeah, and it's one of those mood things where it's not just circumstantial. You know, you weren't just having a hard time, weren't just going through something.
No.
It was definitely heightened. And also, you know, you do such an amazing job regulating yourself and looking after yourself with all your self-care practices that it just didn't add up.
No.
That you were struggling so much with your emotional, I guess, instability.
Yeah, definitely.
But and when I did a bit of research, like it does symptoms of mercury bioaccumulation are like sensory disturbance, headaches, fatigue, dizziness, anemia, and these weird sensory things. Plus there's a huge amount of other things as well.
Or also gut disturbances.
Yeah, kidney problems, chronic migraine. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, it's a long list for mercury. And so at the time we were, trying to treat it. And trying to treat something like mercury looks like taking something that can bind to the mercury that's leaving your body. It can look like taking products that can encourage the mercury because mercury is a heavy metal, it sediments. And the other thing about heavy metals like mercury are they're neurotoxins. What that means is a substance that can cross the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
And that is a holy barrier.
It sure is.
It keeps a lot of things out, but it doesn't keep mercury out, which is, hence the neurological things.
Yeah.
And so it sediments in your tissues. And so you can take something that can encourage your body to kind of get rid of the mercury.
Yeah.
And then you need to be able to mop that mercury up and get it out of your tissue so you can excrete it.
Yeah, so like chelation, I think,
that's called
is
chelation.
pulling it out of the tissues, and then it's got to go sort of through the liver and then dumped into the gut, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then you can process it through the gut and get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that that whole kind of lifestyle, what would you call that? That whole flow of mercury through the tissues, there's different treatment aspects for each part, right? And I remember with all the kinesiology testing, mercury came up with you so many times.
All the time.
You kind of went through waves of the body sort of dumping the toxic mercury out of your tissues and then into the liver. And I feel like that was when you were getting symptoms, when it was very active.
That's right, because it can just kind of sit in the body.
Yeah.
But as soon as your body starts to disturb, it's like shaking a glass of water with sand down the bottom.
Yeah.
As soon as your body starts to disturb those toxins, all of your detox pathways kind of kick into gear.
Yeah.
And the hardcore treatment for mercury toxicity is chelation therapy. And there's some pretty intense drugs that do that. And it's also really hard work for the body. And I remember at the time we were like, well, we're not going to do chelation therapy. That's probably too much.
Yeah.
So what we did do was start with me taking a binder.
Yeah.
And that was just a fish oil.
Yeah. And I'd love to sort of bring in some of your test results as well into this, because
I think before I even had the test results, we were kind of trying to manage the mercury.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I decided that I'd have my fillings removed.
That's right.
That I even wanted to get tested for it.
Got it.
Because at first I was like, this is manageable. I can take some oils, I can take some alpha lipoic acid and maybe some chlorella, and I'm going to be fine. And it would, like, for a while there, the weird skin sensations would disappear. And I'd feel all right again, and then the cycle would just keep happening.
Yeah.
And that's when we thought, well, let's remove them. The thing about mercury is that it's the most toxic to the system when either we're having the amalgams put in or removed.
Yeah.
Because it disrupts the sediment.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when I started going through the process of having all my amalgams removed, I crashed.
Yeah.
And like crashed to the point where I was so depressed, I couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had symptoms constantly all day, and those symptoms were like the weird hot water feeling down my arms and legs. I was very anxious. I was very anemic, and it was actually disrupting my hormones by then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember feeling like, am I imagining that I've got mercury toxicity, or is it actually real? So let's do a test. And that's when we did the hair mineral analysis.
Yeah. Yeah. And the hair mineral analysis test is an amazingly accurate test, especially for minerals and heavy metals in the body. I love this test because it also measures like the ratios of different minerals, especially minerals that bind together.
Yeah.
So like zinc and copper, for example, have an effect on each other. Mercury, not so much. Mercury's one of those metals that we really can't use at all in the body.
No.
It does just get in and store and interrupt.
Yeah, and pretends to be zinc.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It does sometimes pretend to be zinc.
Yeah. So that's a little special bit.
Not going to get us anywhere.
Absolutely not. And so I did the test. And when I got the results back, I think we're going to share them with you. But my mercury was off the chart.
Yes.
Like it was actually like it wasn't even within the little graph. It was a dot far to the right of it.
Yeah, as you'll see on these charts, there's like the green zone, which is safe, and the red zone, which is unsafe or too high levels. And then you'll see Hilary's dot, which is actually not even on the red, is outside the red.
Outside the red. I remember feeling really validated. Yeah. I was like, no wonder I feel a little bit crazy.
It was really validating. And it was also like, oh, really got to take this seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about mercury is, I've always wanted to be a mum, right? And so a lot of the motivation for me to be well is like I want to be well so that when I have children, my children will be well.
Yes.
Mercury crosses the placenta and goes into your baby. And so who knows about my mum's levels of mercury, but I could have had twofold.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I need to get rid of this because I don't want to, pass it on.
That's it. I think because mercury can also disrupt your hormones, it can disrupt your reproductive cycles, and it can interrupt your fertility.
Yeah.
So not only do we not want to pass it on, but actually want to have the best chance possible of getting pregnant.
That's right.
So
yes.
Mercury was definitely a big part of your sort of preconception protocol.
It really was.
Tell us a little bit about the protocol that you used. So maybe the supplements that you took to pull it out of the tissues, and then the supplements you took to support the liver.
Yeah.
And then maybe the supplements you took to bind it as well in the gut.
Well, to really get rid of the mercury, we did a bit of a cleanse.
Yeah.
So we changed our diet a lot and went mostly vegan and really high fruit, really high veggie.
That's right.
Yeah.
We really pulled a lot of, at that time, we pulled heaps of inspiration from the medical mediums protocols.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got a great
heavy metal
perspective
detox.
on heavy metals. Yeah, which I really love. And that was really important. The dietary aspect was super important, not just to remove dietary, like foods that have mercury levels in them, like shellfish, larger fish.
Tin tuna's really high.
Tin tuna's quite high, yep. I mean, there's a few others as well.
Yeah.
So like even citrus that's been sprayed with fungicide, like fungicides have mercury in them. And so the citrus can absorb that and we can eat those. And I think especially with people who have high mercury already or are very sensitive, those kinds of things are really important to remove from your diet.
Absolutely. And so I started with diet just to take as much pressure off my system as I could. And then I started with a bit of chlorella. One day I actually took, this is funny, I actually took an entire tablespoon of chlorella in the morning before work, and I'd never had it before, thinking, well, what, like some green powder, whatever. Yeah. I went to work and I was in such excruciating pain that between patients I was on the floor.
Your gallbladder was.
Oh my gosh, I've never been in such pain. It was.
I did that once, taking a 30 ml shot of coconut oil. Oh, it was so bad.
Terrible.
I was like, I'm doing something really good for myself.
This is the thing, like, folks, we honestly learn along the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit like cowboys. Oh, what? It's going to be fine. Yeah. So with a bit of chlorella, I started taking oils twice a day and smashing some alpha lipoic acid.
Yeah, because the fats, the oils, omegas and that, they're so good at, because mercury, all heavy metals are fat soluble.
Yes.
Water soluble. You can't flush it out with water or salt or whatever. So you've got to do the fats to transport the mercury around the body. So it's got something to be soluble in. And sometimes, especially some really clean omegas, the mercury actually prefers that to the body fat. So it can sort of jump fats in a way.
Yes, please jump
It's a nice
fats.
way to sort of pull it out, yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of really, like, in terms of pulling the mercury out, that was it, because I've got a really sensitive system, and if we were to do anything much more intense than that, I would have felt worse. But what we had to also do as an adjunct to, getting rid of the mercury was supporting my mental health.
Yes.
Because my mental health really suffered at that time. I also incorporated a bit of glycine and saffron.
So supportive nutrients to help with the side effects.
That's right.
And then the fats to pull it out, the alpha lipoic acid was
also pulling it out.
A really amazing antioxidant, especially for the brain. And that obviously helped pull it out.
It's a chelator. They actually use it even medically.
Well, they use it alongside some chelators. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I did forget. Also forgot, because zinc competes with mercury, I took a lot of zinc, and selenium helps pull mercury out. I took a lot of selenium.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can't really remember how long it took, but over time, with a few extra things sprinkled in there, like some charcoal, if I was, could feel a big dump. All my symptoms just kind of receded.
Yeah, because I guess the mercury, it gets processed by the liver, and I remember you taking some like liver tincture herbs.
Yeah, very likely.
Things like N-acetylcysteine to help the liver process the chemicals as well. And then I guess once it gets pushed into the gut, especially like say if you had a big dump in the gut, you would need a binder like charcoal or silica to bind the mercury so that you didn't like reabsorb it through your small intestine.
Yeah, totally. I don't.
And I guess also like you have to make sure that you're going to the bathroom every day. You've got a regular stool so that you are actually passing it out, right?
Well, that was what was so good about the dietary changes.
Yeah, true.
It flushed my gut out so that I wasn't holding on to much at all.
Yeah, and I love that too. Like the dietary change as well, it just makes me think of how how much the body does work in layers. Like you said, taking the stress off the system, as in it doesn't have to process as much like difficult foods or chemicals that are found in a lot of foods. And so without that stress, your body could almost focus on pulling out this toxin.
Yeah, totally.
I find that a lot in clinic when people do protocols or detoxes or something, or they do like a health kick, like a health challenge. It's like the body cleans up a bit and then it goes, right, let's do a spring clean because I've got some stuff stored away that I don't need anymore. There's a bit of mold over there. There's a bit of heavy metal over there. There's some chemicals stored in this tissue. Let's just start shifting it out. Yeah, let's dump it.
Yeah, and people are often like, oh, I'm doing this cleanse, but I feel like crap.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you're pushing out some toxins.
Yeah, the body is busy.
While.
It's busy. So yeah, that's really, for me, once all my symptoms cleared up, I was like, great, I feel significantly better.
I'd say it was about it was 6 to 9 months of solid effort of having
Was
them
it that
removed.
last? You have to push it out of my brain.
It was
pretty traumatizing.
I remember, and kind of getting that test done was really good, and constantly testing up in the clinic and making sure you're on the right things along the way. And I wanted to say that about the supplement choice as well.
Yeah.
We use kinesiology to guide supplementation. And that's kind of the main reason why you gravitated towards those supplements, right? Because using the muscle testing and the kinesiology, it's very unique and kind of just for that system, what that system wants or needs. And there's protocols around that we can go into another time. But
ultimately, there are so many treatment options.
Yes.
And somebody's system that, isn't my system might be able to tolerate a lot more than mine. So we really had to fine tune.
Or need a lot.
Yes, true.
Depending on what the mercury's doing in their body and how their body works to clean it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was specifically what my body wanted. That's how we were comfortable treating me, with your expertise, mine, and another chiropractors at the time.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a group effort.
Yeah. And the amazing recommendations that came from the hair mineral analysis as well. And lots of research. And what was I going to say?
I definitely think, like, when it comes to potentially doing a heavy metal detox or being curious about whether or not you have a heavy metal toxicity, seek professional help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is not something that you want to just wing at home.
No, because that's what I was going to say. Like, the way that you paced it out, the way that you ran your Mercury detox was it worked for you as well. So yeah, you had some times where it was really hard, but most of the time you were still functional, still managing well, not, sort of at the whim of being detoxed. I think there's a lot of rhetoric out there around detoxing, which has people on the toilet, diarrhea, or that has people feeling really unwell.
Yeah.
I really believe that there are some parts to detoxing that are hard, but they shouldn't wipe you out.
No.
I feel like if you're getting wiped out by detoxing, you're probably retoxing. As in the toxins have come out, but they're circulating and they're affecting you as if they're like almost an acute ingestion or something, Yeah. So I think pacing it out and taking the time and not smashing yourself is essential for detoxing well.
Yeah. The other thing that I think is important to talk about when it comes to detoxing, not even metals, anything really, is if you adrenally are not okay. So if you're chronically stressed and you don't have a practice around stress, or you don't have a way to manage your stress, putting yourself through a detox will cook you.
Oh, yeah.
You'll burn out. Because
detoxing just physiologically, naturally in the body only occurs when we're in a parasympathetic state. So when we're not in fight or flight.
That's right.
It's very hard for the body to heal, and it's kind of against its natural rhythm to detox while we're in a fight or flight state or a survival mode. So definitely addressing that first and getting yourself into a regulated place, and then looking at doing those things, which are probably happening naturally anyway.
Yeah.
But I was going to sort of coin that a little bit because we will be moving into the neuro-emotional aspect of health at some point.
Yeah.
The fact that you had a general anesthetic and a mouthful of fillings put in at 8 and whatever was going on in your life at 8 or whatever you were going through at that time, these toxins, as they're ingested in the body, they also lock in stress at the time of that of that toxic exposure.
Yeah.
So if you're going through something or you've got stress in your body at the time, the toxins will actually lock that emotion in.
Yes.
And so a big part of detoxing or clearing out mercury is also working on moving that emotional stuff through, liberating stored emotions, clearing stress so that those toxins aren't attached to that energy and it can flow out as well.
Yeah. What I will quickly say, I'm super pumped about emotions that we hold. We hold them because they need to be processed, but we hold the physiological response to that emotion anytime we're reminded of a similar emotion. And to put that in plain words, that basically means the chemistry that you had at the time of that big stress, the body remembers it. And if it's ever reminded again, doesn't matter if it's 5 years, 10, 20 years later, will identically mimic that chemistry.
That's right. Or that emotion. Yeah. If you got the mercury at 8 and there was stress and you maybe got retox with mercury again when you had them out, that stress comes back up.
To the surface.
It can be like a trigger almost.
Which is why holistic care is so important.
That's why we do all of it.
Yeah. Emotional, chemical, physical.
That's right.
Yeah. It's been a journey. What I just have to admit to this. Look, I had to cut heaps of hair out to do this hair mineral analysis. And it was deeply traumatizing.
It's like 5 centimeters and you have to get right
and
to
it was
base.
a lot. It was a lot of hair. And so you might be wondering, have you no, I haven't retested.
Not yet.
And I haven't retested because I can't let go of more hair. I only just grew it back.
But yeah, no, I think it'd be really cool to do out of curiosity because you don't get any of those symptoms anymore.
No, I don't get any of them.
You don't show up for mercury in the clinic anymore. So I'd be really interested to see where that dot is now.
Hopefully it's somewhere on the page at least.
Well, it's got to be in the green.
Got to be. It's got to be.
Well, thank you so much for listening in to part 4.
We did run out of time.
We did.
I just loved talking about myself a bit too much.
Yeah. Wait till it's my turn. But thank you for sharing.
Thanks for listening.
If this has helped you at all, we really want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Connect with us over our socials. They're in our show notes. You can email us as well. Or if you know someone who would benefit from hearing this, please share this episode with them. Like our podcast, subscribe. Don't miss another episode. And we'll see you back here.
See you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.